In the 1920s, the Indonesian archipelago was firmly under Dutch colonial control. For the indigenous population, political power, economic control, and social mobility were severely restricted by the state. This lack of external control drove a profound inward search across the islands. Many Javanese and Sundanese communities turned to Kebatinan, a broad term for indigenous Indonesian spiritual mysticism that focuses entirely on the inner life and the pursuit of existential peace. One highly specific manifestation of this inward turn began in September 1927 in the small West Javanese village of Kampung Cimerta, Subang. When a population is stripped of external influence, cultivating the inner landscape becomes an act of claiming agency. Mysticism offered a space where the colonial government had absolutely no jurisdiction. In that village, 3 men gathered to seek clarity: Mei Kartawinata, Rasyid and Sumitra. During their gathering, they experienced what is known in their tradition as a wangsit, or divine revelation. This did not arrive as a written text. Instead, it manifested as a mysterious auditory voice, accompanied by spontaneous, involuntary physical movements. The immediate result of this experience was the transmission of 10 distinct philosophical directives. These were quickly codified as the Dasa Wasita, the foundational teachings of their new community. The core argument of these 10 teachings is absolute surrender. They state that every human action and movement is strictly governed by Kodrat and Iradat, the ultimate power and the absolute will of the Almighty. This concept of moving strictly in accordance with a higher will gave the resulting organization its name, Aliran Kebatinan Perjalanan. Aliran means stream, Kebatinan is the spiritual path, and Perjalanan translates to the journey. The name encapsulates their entire worldview. Spiritual fulfillment is not an instantaneous event. It is a vast, continuous distance that a person must traverse, exactly like water flowing from a mountain spring until it reaches the ocean. Over the following decades, the founders translated that initial 1927 experience into a highly structured theology. Perjalana philosophy divides human existence into 3 components. First is lahir, the physical body interacting with the material world. Second is batin, the inner self of authentic emotion. Third is aku, the core consciousness serving God, which observes reality through the other 2 selves. Only by recognizing these 3 distinct selves and keeping them in total equilibrium can a practitioner successfully navigate the currents of life and move closer to the divine source. What began as intimate study groups in the 1930s steadily attracted followers across West Java. This growing community eventually required a formal structure for management. On September 17, 1955, the movement officially institutionalized under the name Aliran Kebatinan Perjalanan. This official emblem functions as a visual map of their theology. The top 5-pointed star emits 9 alternating rays against a black and white background, symbolizing the balance of natural forces. The central lightning bolt represents God's absolute power, delivering the spark of consciousness to humanity. As the organization expanded, internal dynamics naturally shifted. In 1980, differing perspectives caused the primary movement to split into 3 distinct organizations: Perjalana, Budidaya, and Ajidipa. Much like a massive river inevitably branching into a wider delta as it moves downstream, this organizational division simply created new channels. The core teachings from 1927 continued to flow evenly through all 3. Today, Aliran Kebatinan Perjalanan maintains its headquarters in the city of Bandung, counting roughly 7,000 active members. Their daily practice requires no rigid, text-heavy liturgy. Instead, members rely on an internalized oral tradition and the continuous, conscious alignment of their daily actions with the divine will. Community gatherings center around the Sarasean, open, egalitarian discussion forums where members share experiences, and the annual celebration of Sura, the traditional Javanese New Year. They also dedicate significant time to socio-cultural activities specifically designed to honor and preserve indigenous Indonesian heritage, viewing their ancestors as vital links in the chain of spiritual knowledge. By prioritizing communal discussion and local cultural heritage over strict dogma,
the movement remains highly adaptable, integrating its historical roots cleanly into the 21st century. For a practitioner of para, formal ritual takes a back seat to a much more demanding requirement. Daily social behavior is considered the highest possible form of prayer. They are mandated to manifest God's holiness in the real world. This means living with uncompromising honesty and actively dismantling their own ego in every social interaction. The teachings explicitly prohibit what they call childishness. Members must actively reject praise-seeking behaviors, avoid self-aggrandizement, and show deep, mature respect for the opinions of others. The practice of gotong royong, or communal cooperation, serves as a religious mandate to integrate fully into society. Shared physical labor becomes a direct spiritual duty that prevents the practitioner from retreating into isolation. The journey of Perjalanan culminates in the modeling of the Creator's perfection within everyday life. Success is found when the physical body, the inner feeling, and the witnessing eye converge peacefully into the vast ocean of divine unity.